Okay, so what if the world you see, the reality you experience every single day, is just one floor in a massive 36-story skyscraper of existence? I mean, that's the truly mind-bending idea we're going to explore today. So let's dive into this incredible map of reality. And the central claim here, it's actually super simple, but wow, is it profound. The source material we're looking at says there aren't 4 dimensions, not 11 like some theories suggest, but exactly 36 distinct dimensions of existence. 36.
So you might be asking, what even defines these dimensions? And that's the fascinating part. It's not about physical space, like length, width, and height. No. Instead, it's all about the energy level of life itself. It creates this whole spectrum, from what the text calls matter life, all the way to antimatter life. Basically, every single dimension is a fundamentally different state of being. And that's the core idea we're going to unpack right now.
All right, so here's our game plan. We're going to start with the dimensions of perception, then move on to the dimensions of thought. After that, we'll get into seeing the unseen world, explore the tunnels through space-time, and finish up with the universe beyond science. Okay, first things first, let's build our foundation here. We're going to start with the dimensions that are tied directly to our physical senses, starting at the most basic, fundamental level you can possibly imagine. So try to picture this. A reality with absolutely zero visual information. I mean, no shape, no form, not even light or dark. The source uses a really powerful analogy for this. It says this is the world a blind person experiences. It's a dimension of just pure existence, without any of the things we normally use to define our world. Okay, now let's add a layer to that. In the second dimension, we get shape and size, but everything is in black and white, like an old movie. And what's really interesting is that the source connects this to a certain way of thinking, a mind that sees everything in black and white, just good or evil, right or wrong, with absolutely no room for any shades of gray in between. And here we are, the third dimension. This is our reality, vibrant, colorful, constantly changing. The source material has a great way of describing our experience here. It calls it an unknotted line. What that means is, even when our lives feel super complicated, they still follow this straight, linear path through time that can't really be tangled up. And according to the text, this is home for about 98% of all people. So you can totally see the pattern emerging here, right? It's like we're slowly turning up the dials on reality. We start with nothing, then we get black and white, and finally, we arrive at the full color world we all know. Each step up just adds a whole new layer of information, building this spectrum of perception. All right, so we've covered the dimensions you can sort of grasp with your senses. But now things are about to get a lot more interesting. We're leaving behind what our eyes can see and jumping into dimensions that are defined by pure thought and consciousness. The fourth dimension. This is a huge leap. It's called the causal plane. So think about it like this. Someone on this level doesn't just see a tree, they see the entire root system hidden underground. They get the deep, hidden causes behind everything and can pretty much see what's going to happen next. It's the dimension of truly profound understanding. And who's hanging out in this fourth dimension? Well, according to the text, it is a very exclusive club. We're talking about people like Newton, Einstein, Plato, Aristotle, even Washington, Mao Zedong, and Beethoven. These were minds that didn't just look at the world. They understood the hidden rules that were making it all tick. But what about when cause and effect just seem to break? Those events that happen where logic completely fails to explain them. Well, that brings us to the really strange territory of the fifth dimension. To show what this is like, the source gives this absolutely wild example. Get this. A man's coffin is lost to the sea during a huge storm in Texas. 28 years later, it washes up on a beach over 3,000 kilometers away, right back in his hometown. The text presents this as a fifth-dimensional event, a moment where the rules of our world just kind of bent, to give us a peek at something bigger. All right, climbing even higher, we get to the sixth dimension. The text calls this the human immortal world. This is basically a state of enlightenment. Someone here is completely past material things, past desire. From where they're standing, our whole busy, chaotic 3D world just looks like a quick dream. They're totally free from worry, and the text says they can even tap into universal energies. Okay, so if you thought that was a big jump, you might want to buckle up for this next part. We are now heading into dimensions where perception is just completely alien to us. We're about to start peeling back the layers on the hidden structure of the universe itself. This right here, this is where our idea of reality just completely shatters. Just look at this comparison. In our world, the third dimension, you see a person made of flesh and blood. Simple enough. But jump to the seventh dimension, the proton world, and that exact same person is now a moving skeleton. Then go up to the eighth, the photon world, and they're a shimmering being of colored light. What we are literally changes depending on which dimension you're looking from. And as we keep climbing, reality starts to act almost like a hologram. You have to hear this. In the 11th dimension, a single drop of a person's blood isn't just a tiny sample. No, it's said to contain the complete, living image of the entire person. The part literally contains the whole. Just think about that. So what about time? How does that work? Well, by the time you get to the 15th dimension, which the text calls a timeless world, the rules are just completely thrown out the window. From that perspective, time isn't a river flowing in one direction. It's a massive, open landscape. The source claims you could literally look one way and see dinosaurs, and then turn around and see a future world run by biorobots. Okay, so you've got all these different realities stacked on top of each other. The big question is, how do you get from one to the other? Well, the source material actually has an answer for that. A kind of cosmic subway system for navigating this whole thing. It's called the space tunnel, and it exists in the 18th dimension. Here's how it's supposed to work. When a life form dies, its spirit, or its consciousness, enters this tunnel. Think of it like a cosmic grand central station. It's the central hub that connects all 36 dimensions, and it sends that spirit off to its next destination. Heaven, the animal realm, wherever, all based on its energy level. And that brings us to our final, big picture view of this entire cosmic map. And it makes a really important point about what we can and can't know.
And here's that crucial division. The source claims that the first 18 dimensions, so half of them, are theoretically explorable by science. We could, in theory, study them. But the upper 18, that's a completely different story. They are said to be totally beyond the reach of our instruments. The only way to access them is through non-physical ways, like deep meditation, elevated consciousness, things like that.
So, there you have it. From a world with no color, all the way up to a reality beyond time itself, we've just walked through this absolutely unique map of existence. It's a challenging idea, for sure. It's definitely mind-bending, and it really just leaves us with one final question to think about. After seeing this entire map, where do you think you fit in?